Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katie Ray. I am joined with the beautiful Abeba from Loft, which is where you are a personal fashion stylist, correct?
Correct.
And it's your company.
Yes, it is.
Because you're amazing.
Thank you.
But I would love to just talk about how you got into that, kind of what led you to it. You are absolutely stunning today. I don't want to take a picture with you later because I'm next to you. But I would love to talk about it. And especially because as a stylist, you probably want to make sure you're always showing exactly what you can do. So you're always on your game. But yeah, how did you start Loft?
Okay, well, let me start first off, because of my mother. My name is actually Abeba.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that is absolutely okay. I mean, growing up, I've been called Abeba, Amisha, Abeba, Akreba, Alhambra, Alakazam, some of everything. So I am so used to
Abeba.
Yes, that's it. Very simple. And so the creativity, even with my name, Abeba, it's very unique. And ironically, I was a child who stuttered. So I grew up just being a complete introvert. I'm an only child, which I don't have a problem with. Other people may judge me. It doesn't matter. But in doing that, I was really just always around my grandmother and my mother, who are super, super fashionable, right?
Love that.
Because it was the 70s and it was the 80s and there was these shoulder pads and all these clothes. And my parents actually lived in Africa for a while. So they got these great fashions from Paris and Germany. And so when we came back to the States, I would play dress up in their closets. And so growing up, I went to private school. But after a while, I matriculated to a public school where I was able to explore all of these fashion things that I had around me as a child. And so I just sort of kind of kept that perspective. I was an athlete, so people, felt that I was like a tomboy. But when I would put on these dresses and these heels that were super, super comfortable, I felt very different. But still, as a stutterer, I did not like to speak. So I really like to let my clothes speak for me. And that's just something that I've carried throughout life. And that's just what I do. And that's how I sort of kind of got into fashion and styling. I had friends who were like, you look great. I need some help. I have a wedding. I'm applying for this new job. My husband just left me, and I want to start over. So can you help me?
Yeah.
And so I started just sort of kind of helping, just for fun. And I do enjoy doing that. But then I met my wife and she was like, you need to monetize that. That's money. That's time. You're really good at it, but it takes a lot of time for me. So you need to monetize that. And I was like, you can't monetize art. She's like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Oh, yeah. But there's a way to do it. And so I just slowly started doing it. I have lawyers who I work with, here and in other states, just women who are busy, women and men who are just trying to maybe grow into maybe a new size, whether it be of actual physical size or life size. So,
oh my goodness. How old were you when you were able to really just with confidence? Because you were introverted, but with your clothes, that is a huge deal when you're in school because you have to worry about just people in general being mean. Yes. Would your mom and grandma help you, or would you kind of show them and they were all for it and just did let you do your thing?
No. So there was no helping me. I'm a Virgo. I'm a little bit stubborn. I'm in my own world. So, and I was like, no, Mom, I got it. So there was this show when I was little called Solid Gold. And there was this woman on that show and she had this long flowing black hair down to her bum, and I just loved it. So I would take those macrame plant holders and put them on my head and whip around in boots because my grandmother was just 5'5". And so her boots fit me as a child. So I'd have her thigh-high boots on and this macrame thing whipping around the house and bangles and, all of this stuff. And they were just she's a really interesting child. She's really interesting. Y'all should have had some siblings for her. But that's where the fashion sort of kind of thing came from. And so they just sort of kind of left me alone with it. It wasn't until really I got to high school that I have to say I was a bit of a poser, if you will. My fashion sense matched what guy I was interested to. So the surfer guy, Larry, this is where you had the ponchos from Mexico on. And you already know. I see it in your face. You already know. So I had the ponchos from Mexico on. I had the boxers with writing on the back of them. You know, I had the Adidas or Umbros on, and that's what I wore for Larry. And then like I dated this guy who was, you know, Asian, and he like had a lowrider, and like, you know, so I had like the LA Knights jacket on and the big baggy jeans. I mean, it was, and then I, you know, dated a guy who was like Hotep, hip hop, you know, R&B, Tickable Planet type guy. So then I kept the baggy jeans with him and like wore sweatshirts, you know, from Howard. And I just kept on. So all of that costuming, I finally put away once I went to college myself and just sort of kind of found my own perspective.
Yeah. I do feel like that could be I'm not great with TikTok, but I feel like you putting on all those outfits would be a fabulous TikTok.
That is actually the idea.
I mean, just walking out in all of these different looks.
The 90s poser imposter girl. Yeah. And now married to a woman. So, hey.
Here we are.
Here we go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you started monetizing it, did you realize that your passion and your love for fashion could actually be your dream job?
No, I didn't. And I think the most interesting thing about that is because full-time I work in education, right? And so that is so different from fashion because education is actually very, very standard. You know, math is taught in a certain way, or the concepts are understood in a certain way, and they can talk about new math and old math. It's still math. It's still hateful. It's just I hate it. It's rude. It's disrespectful. If God wanted letters and numbers together, it would be 1A, 2B, but whatever. But I was a social science teacher originally. But I got into administration, right? So I was an assistant principal for 13 years. And I was the assistant principal that when the kids would come in and I would need to talk to them about their behavior or whatever, whether it be a boy or a girl, and for some of the young men, I was thinking, oh, sweetie, you're not really into girls right now, because they'd be like, Miss Salter Liggins, that dress, girls, everything. And I'm like, oh, you're asking Ashley to the prom. No, it's not going to work out in about 5 years, but I'll be here, you know. But
I'm right here.
Right. Still. But it would be conversations with like the parents and the students and even other teachers, you know, about Miss your outfit today is, oh my gosh. And so I was like, I'm really moving in a way that like, this is what I should be doing, right? Yeah. And so I didn't believe it because I had been in education, I think, for 22 years. And it was something about the possibility of the thing that really makes you happy and really wakes up joy inside of you being the thing that you pushed away for so long because it seems so easy. You know, like, putting clothes together for friends and family and even folks I don't know. I'm always dressing and undressing folks in my head if I meet them. That comes naturally. That comes naturally, right? But this whole thing of curriculum and learning and behavior management and modification and bus referrals, I could tolerate it and do it and get it done, but I did not have a passion for it. And so I think mentally for me, that was the hardest part about understanding that I could monetize that. I didn't feel like I deserved it. I did not feel like I deserved to be happy and paid for something that comes naturally for me. And so I'm still working through that, right? Mm-hmm. Like I know I'm good at it. I know that I get good feedback and people seem happy. Even my mom seems, you know, happy when I put things together for them and they get, you know, authentic compliments. People walk differently when they feel comfortable, even in a casual outfit, right? And so understanding that I deserve to live in my purpose of putting clothes together and not being so focused on the educational piece, right? Mm-hmm. So I've spent a lot of time and money in that, but I might not be doing that the rest of my life. And that's not the plan that I had for myself or what I went to school for, but it's still okay to pursue it and get paid for it.
Yeah. And first of all, I didn't think I could love you more, but I absolutely adore Educator. So I love that you're in education.
Thank you.
I just think you're definitely not real. I just don't think people give you the respect that really educators deserve. But
thank you.
Thank you for that too. And now you're making people beautiful inside and outside. But you're totally right with when you just feel good and how different people walk or just It's just everybody has their like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And you did, and you still like kind
working
of
through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But I think you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and also just watching children as they're growing up in the awkward stages and owning your awkward stage, like my awkward stages, with my umbros and sweaters. And like, when you said umbros, I was like, that was me.
Yeah.
There I am. There's my umbro. But I think that also kind of helps you through what you're doing. I mean, I feel like every experience has really brought you here. How long have you been just Salt Loft?
So I'm still working full time as an educator, but I have been doing Salt Loft now for 2 years.
Wow.
I did take some time off during the pandemic just because there was nothing to style.
Yeah.
And because I am a Virgo and I lean a lot into that, I'm very energy based.
Yeah.
The world really was very heavy for me. And so it was very, very hard for me to be creative, right? But when you speak about community, that's why it's very important to have people who are also creatives in a non-traditional way. So I did have friends who were photographers and friends who were makeup artists and friends who were hairstylists who were like, hey, we know you're a little deeper than like most in regards to like the world energy. We're not seeing any content, like you're not posting. Are you good? Are you coming back? Are you going to pursue this? Like what's happening? So just having people, who check on you, and people were asking like, hey, thinking of a 50th birthday shoot, not knowing how to really execute it, are you available? What's happening?
Amazing.
And I did not feel like I could do my best at that time. And so I told a lot of people no.
Yeah.
And I was actually ready to just walk away from it because it's like, oh, the world's ending. Coronavirus, like this is just absolutely ridiculous. I give up. Like I'm just going to dress in black, and walk around like with some Amy Winehouse on. I'm over this. I'm over this. I can't take it. And then, I looked up and I realized, Adele had lost all this weight. And I'm like, wait a minute. She's believing the world is coming back. Mm-hmm. So if sister is getting slim, which means we might get a tour, that means Beyonce's probably going to tour again. Pictures. It's time. People want fashion again. Let's go. And so around October, like I sort of kind of thawed out and was like, girl, get your butt up. Stop it. Get off the floor. Let's go. Let's
Adele
go.
leaving her man got her to there.
Let me tell you.
Also, it helped people inspire. Like you're totally right. When you feel everything, it's really hard to get up. Like
it was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle.
And it's so good just how transparent you are because that was a lot of people.
Yeah.
And saying no, I mean, you knew you couldn't bring your best foot forward for that person. Like it's not, you can't say yes to everything either, right? But I love you're like, okay, wait.
We may survive.
Yeah. Beyonce and Adele are coming back.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Outfits.
I mean, you got to have that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take a step back, talk about your wife because you brought her up.
Yes.
And how all of that came to be.
Yeah. Oh, that story is hilarious. So my wife is absolutely amazing. Her name is Abeba Salter Liggins. And we are totally opposites, which is hilarious.
Amazing.
Like if you saw us, you'd be like, I don't understand. I don't. How did they? I mean, we both have a presence about us. And she is stunning. She's a former basketball player. Like she's an athlete. She's a genius. She's a twin. So there's two of them, identical twins. There's two of them, and they are both amazing. But mine is like my favorite because she's mine. Love you, D. We are just so different. But I can honestly say that the way that I go into styling now really changed just because of having her in my life and her demanding for me to be kind to myself and honor myself in every single way. So the way that we met was just like a friend. We have a friend in common, and she has a birthday around December, and she had one of these, like happy hour takeovers at Fly Bar. On Franklin, and was like, hey, y'all, everyone meet at 6:00 or whatever. And it was like the holiday season. And so everybody was sort of kind of off and had time. She wound up having, I feel like it was like 75 people show up at this happy hour. And I had on some heels.
That's a happy hour.
Listen, we were happy and it was an hour or so. And I had on some heels that were unforgiving, rude, and disrespectful. And so I needed to sit down. And so I walked in the happy hour. They were just horrible. I walked in the happy hour and there was a seat, one of the only few that was available by this woman. And I sat by her, and I don't like to touch people I don't know, but it was so crowded that we were sort of kind of touching and we knew of other people. And so I was talking over her, and she was talking over me. And then she sort of kind of looked at me, and then she looked away, and then she looked at me again. And then I could tell how she looked at me, and I was looking at her like, I don't date women. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I never thought that I'd really talk to her again, but we sort of kind of exchanged words and flirted, like fun happy hour flirting, things that you do, like it's a one-off, like it's not even a big thing or what have you. But I did get her name, and I realized that she knew a lot of people who I knew well socially, and they felt very comfortable with her. And so I went home and I told my best friend, I'm like, I was just running through my day. I'm like, yeah, and I went to this happy hour for Liz, and I met this woman, her name's B, and she just, I don't know. And then I was saying, I don't know. And then I kept talking about her for like 45 minutes, right?
But I don't know.
But I don't know. And so then my friend's like, hey, bestie, you never talk about anybody. That's your person. You're going to marry them. I was like, excuse you? And what? And she's like, I'm telling you. I said, I don't date women. She's like, I know. You will. And I was like, but I don't. And she's like, but you will. And sure enough, like 7 years later.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got married 2 years ago. Yeah. And it's been amazing. It has been amazing. And in my vows, I told her, you love me like my father loves me. It's just this, and when I first met her, it was just this pure, consistent, like, literally like her being was created for me. And so when I talk about energy with fashion, it's the same thing with people. Like I knew I never wanted to live without her energy in my life. I knew that. And so she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. I thank God every day for her.
To know that person's energy kind of forms you into the person that you're supposed to be is absolutely beautiful. And I love that you were called out from the first time you met her.
Yeah.
You don't talk about anybody, and that's your person. Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah. And so on the wedding day, like my best friend was there. I was like, I told you. I was like, I guess.
The whole time she basically dropped a mic and walked out.
Yeah.
And just like, whatever.
She's like, I told you so. I was like, I guess.
I love that story. I have goosebumps.
Oh,
I appreciate that story. So when you said like, I don't date women, did you tell her that at that time?
Yes.
Oh,
it wasn't even I was, and so like me, being me here I go back to being that girl in high school. I was like, I realized the energy, right? But I don't date women. But I was like, we can be like friends. Like we can be like lifelong friends. Like it'll sure. And I remember like telling her that like after we just sort of kind of tried to date and then it didn't work out and we tried to date because it was a lot, right? Like when you're a 40-plus-year-old woman and you start dating a woman seriously, and you've been married to men before, and we both had, that looks very, very, very different, right? And we have religious backgrounds playing, a part. We have single parenthood, like all of these things that like in all of these pieces. And I come from a small household and small family, and she comes from a family that I really think that when it rains, there's like more of them. Like I'm not kidding. Like she comes from a family that has so many human beings. Right. And I'm like, hey, yeah, it's just me and my mom. And she's like, okay, yeah, it's just you and your mom in Tampa. Like I was like, just me and my mom. And that's sort of kind of it. And she's like, yeah, but where's the rest of your family? I'm like, dead. Like, I don't.
Like, not here. Like,
right.
They're not here.
Right. And so we can go somewhere, and she has so many cousins, and so that we can be in an airport, and she'll have a cousin that saw her like on a tram, and it's like, are you flying through Hartsfield right now? She's like, yeah, well, where are you going? I'm going to Memphis. And it's okay. Like it's kind of like, are you at Jazz in the Gardens, row 77? I think I saw you on the Tron. She's like, yeah, where are you? General admission. Yeah, it's constant.
Like, what?
Yeah. And so that was a lot of growth for us because I'm into like like, I want her for me. I don't want to share her. And she's like, yeah, like when we travel, like, you know, we have to stop and see this person and that person. I have to go to this event and that event and so on and so forth. And I'm like, I'm going to die.
There's a growth opportunity there for you. There you go.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to die. So there has been a lot of stretching and growing, and the same on her behalf. Cause, you know, I'm like, hey, I'm a plant mom, and like, I just want to like be with my plants and my dogs. And I would like you on the sofa watching TV, but I don't want you to talk to me because I don't feel like communicating, but I want to be able to like look at you and see you and enjoy your energy, but I don't want you to talk to me. Right.
Like, you're there.
Right. And she's like, oh my God, this is a lot.
She's like,
yeah. So every day is a growth situation for us.
Sacrifices in relationships.
Yes.
It's super important.
Yes.
So being home
Mm-hmm.
at first when everything was like shut down and
Yes.
everything, I feel like that was nice for you to be home with your wife.
Really?
In the same place. How was that?
Really?
Tell me.
Is that what you-
Because
is that
you
what you
like to
felt?
be with your plants.
Like is that what you're thinking? Okay, so I love you, but make sure you're gonna hear this. So and I think our
Really?
friends and family, our friends or family really, I think, prayed for us like during that time, because my wife is as much of an introvert as I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm an introvert. She is a super extrovert.
Oh.
Like I don't like, can't stop, won't
Oh,
stop.
I thought you said she was an introvert.
No.
Too. I was like, no way. She sounds like an extrovert.
No, she's a super
So
extrovert. Yeah.
She couldn't be home all day.
No, so I'm like, this is fantastic. This is amazing. Zoom calls, you know, and I can just put into every Zoom call, I just have a new wig on, new glasses, you know, dark space, because again, I'm at that point thinking the world is ending. So why are we meeting about anything? I don't get
The
it.
background is just
Dark. Fine.
Yeah.
Right. Fine. And I'm good. And she's like, they closed the office. I don't know when I can go back to work. I don't know how this is going to work. And so I'm thinking, me either, because someone is going to die in this house. Like, because we can't, you know, like I need to be able to walk around like a sad peppermint patty.
And be in my own energy.
Yes,
just
like in my muumuus, not bathing, like disgusting,
and
you
need
know.
to be around people.
Correct. Like looking at the news, looking at the coronavirus reports, like taking my temperature every 10 minutes, like ODing on vitamin C. Like it was ridiculous, right?
I was there.
And she's like, no, sunshine, light. And like, I'm like, I want everything shut. You know, I am dramatic. You understand me? I'm a mess. I don't want any bright light. Like, I'm like a gremlin. Bright light. And her like, bright light. Yes, sun. And I'm like, no. And so it was really an adjustment. And it took a few months. It really did, because we are just so, our personalities are so specific, and we did not understand the value of going out into the world during the day and getting our fifis and energy out with other people and communicating with other people, or me ignoring people because I don't want to interact with them, and her interacting with, you know, everyone who she meets. Like she meets the taxi driver. By the end, she knows her kid's name and phone number. And it's like, yes, you know, like we're in Napa. It's like, yes. And this is my driver. And she's like at the wine places, like telling them, okay, I know that. Yes, I had that vintage. And I know, you know, like that's her. And I'm just like, can someone take a really great picture of me, like standing with it, like that's a great pitch. Like
Anybody?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it really helped us understand that we don't have any kids, right? So it's just two people, you know, in a nice size house that still couldn't figure it out. And so it took a few months, and I was like, okay, I have downstairs from this time. You have upstairs, and we got her study all together because we had been dragging ass on that forever. And it really started to, you know, work out. But because I am in education, I really wasn't home. Like, I think I was only home maybe like 3 weeks.
You're right.
And then we had to do the feeding stuff, you know, and within the first 3 weeks of the pandemic, you know, educators, depending on your role, we were back on the front lines. So I would come home every day, like taking clothes off, you know, in the garage. Because I'm like, I think it's on me. And she's like, talk to me. And I'm like, I have been talking to people all day. And I think, you know, like a droplet, like dropped in my nose and I'm like freaking out. Like I have to monitor my, you know what I'm saying? And so it was just, I wish there was a camera in the house now in hindsight
To watch
how like absolutely ridiculous we were trying to get our lives together. But she became Lanisha Armstrong during the pandemic, as I say, because she bought this bike and she started cycling like just, you know, piece by piece. And now she's up to like 46 miles. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like she'll bike from our house to Safety Harbor and somehow, it's
Are you in Tampa?
Uh-huh.
To Safety Harbor?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. She will do that. And she's lost like 60 pounds in quarantine. I ate them.
Right.
No, for real. So like it was a minute. Like mama just got back down like in the last like 2 months, but she lost 60 pounds. I ate them all. And
which is balance.
It's something. And so then there was some like frustration there. So I'm like, I can't even wear my clothes to take selfies. And if I want to take selfies in them, like, this is all your fault somehow. She's like, how? I'm like, because you're getting healthy. How dare you?
Because you're biking.
Yes. It's like, I'm drinking all the wine. I can't fit my damn clothes. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So it's a blessing. It is a blessing that we have made it to vaccination. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Praise the Lord.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we made it through.
I love your reaction. It was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
We are so lucky to be here together.
Yes.
But again, it takes effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
People can't just expect. I was the same as you, though. My spouse when he went to work every day, I made him in the garage, stripped down like he was a doctor. Yes. And I was like, you are not touching any of us until you take a shower. Because I was like, I had a child 3 weeks right before everything shut down.
Oh my gosh.
So like I was in like this hole of the unknown. Like, did we catch everything in the hospital? Like, I don't even know. You know, so I was like I was like, my mom can't come over. I'll get her sick.
Yep.
And I was doing when you said the temperature, you haven't left the house.
Right.
But you're checking your temperature.
Right. It's like, I don't.
I was like, oh, are you in my house with me? Because I did the same.
But see, here's the problem. See, I watch a bunch of bullshit on TV. So if it's dystopian, right, I watched it. So I watched The Handmaid, like, and have been watching it, right? So like Handmaid's Tale, anything that's about the anything that's about the world ending. So for me, it was like, oh, I was prepared for January 6th as well as coronavirus a little bit. So I'm already in this like really weird place. So when it happened, I'm like, like
the world's done. Like,
right. No, I was like, no, I have everything I need. Like, let me take my temp. Like, I ordered, it was no lie. Like, it was, I think I had been talking about, and there's a Facebook post that I posted February 22nd. I was at LA Fitness and someone sneezed in LA Fitness and I damn near fell off the treadmill because I was like, oh my God, he has that thing that they're talking about overseas, right? And so I put a post up. I said, I don't know what's going on, but a man just sneezed. 3 people just walked in here that look like they just got off an international flight. I'm leaving and I'm not coming back here until I get clearance. And then like a month later, spring break, like March 15th, it was like, hey, it's going down. And so I called my wife. I'm like, hey, I'm ordering some things from Amazon. It's going to seem like a lot. And I'm going to Walmart because, and she was like, well, I'm in Tallahassee, at a meeting. I'm like, yeah, no problem. She comes home, like half of the garage is toilet paper, napkins, like Snoopy napkins. Like I bought every type of paper towel thing, anything. If it was paper, I bought it. I even think I bought like loose leaf. I was like, listen, if things go left and I need to wipe my butt, we'll use loose leaf paper. It was absolutely ridiculous. I bought every bleach, Fabuloso. Like she came home and was like, what's going on? I'm like, do you not watch the news? I know y'all stay in your meetings and you're busy. The world is ending.
But I'm really glad you're prepared.
Yeah, it worked out.
Shelves of bleach is so important.
Yeah, it worked. And somehow we have used it all. So listen, like I said, I gained 60 pounds. I've lost it. So all the toilet paper I've used.
So your wife travels.
Yes.
And you are still educator. Are you in administration still?
No, I am not. So that was one of the interesting things that sort of kind of happened in 2020. So as stressful as like outside life got, my professional life got stressless, if that makes any sense. So we have a new administration in the school system here in Tampa, and there were a lot of changes that were made. And with that, I think last summer, like 129 administrators were I would say, absorbed into other positions. And for a lot of people, that was very, very hard for them to make the determination, like if they wanted to go ahead and retire, depending on how many years they had, or if they wanted to go back into the classroom or another position within the district based off of qualifications. However, when I got the call, God is so good. My mother and my best friends and everyone had been praying that something would happen or that I would get out of administration for probably about 11 years. Like, yeah, it was one of those situations where like a hard head makes a soft ass, you know, like I've gone to school for this. I've seen other people who do this. I know I can do it, but actually I should have never been an administrator in the way that I was, right? I do have this mind for it. I do have this thing about helping at-risk kids, which are all kids. It really is, especially now. It's all kids, but there is not really, how do I say this? It has to line up where the principal of the school, the area director or area superintendent of the school, as well as the administrators and the staff of the school and the community have to be on the same page about what's best for kids. And over the years, there have just been a lot of communication technical difficulties between all of those stakeholders, right? About how to go about doing what's best for kids. And so I came into administration at a point where that miscommunication was just starting. And I didn't really understand it. And I didn't really understand that this probably is not the best time for my personality type to be getting into doing the type of administrating that I did on the level with the amount of kids that I did. So I had the opportunity last year to decide if I wanted to continue with it or if I wanted to be absorbed into a classroom role. And God is so good. I was actually floating in a pool when I got the call because we had rented a house from stress. Yeah. And I was floating in the pool and I got the call and I was so excited and I was so relieved that I didn't even let the person really finish their statement. Like they got to, hey, we're going in. I'm like, yep, no problem. I have something. And they were like, do you understand that you need to have a job in 21 days? I got something. It's fine. It's fine. Do you have any questions for me? Nope, I'm good.
Absorbed.
Okay. You might, and the person was like, hey, I think you might be in shock because we know that I am not in shock. I promise you that. I am so good. And I like literally like they're trying to finish the conversation. I'm texting someone like, hey, anything open at your school, anything open at your school, so on and so forth. This is what I can do. And I just landed in a great school with a great principal, great position. I am so blessed. And so that's another reason why I've been able to really become creative again, and find joy again, and really be able to interact with students in a way that I don't feel like there's any judgment on me, right? Because when you're an administrator, everything that kids do comes back to you, right? If they kick out a window on the bus, it's on you. You know, if they cuss out a teacher, the teacher knows that these are not your babies, but they're so frustrated and they don't really have a lot of power in regards to the behavior issues in their classrooms. And kids, God bless them, they come to school with so much trauma and they don't really know where else to put it. Like it's really changed from like the 90s and the 80s. Like I really implore people, get in the classrooms and see what it looks like. Don't go into education specifically, but drop in your child's school and go into not only the AP classrooms, not only the magnet side, walk these hallways, walk these cafeterias, because it's not like back in the day when like there were maybe like 15 kids on a campus, who were truly traumatic and everyone sort of kind of knew their stories, you know, and what have you. And it was like a community around, hey, well, you know, if they rage or if they skip, flip that now. Like 85% of students on a campus, I don't care the demographic, I don't care the gender, how they identify, are traumatized hugely in some way. And because guidance counselors don't have the time to do what they used to, they're testing, they're not counseling kids. These kids are not getting any support. And so it's just a very, very stressful situation. And so I'm glad that I don't have that weight on my shoulders anymore. I can just talk with kids about, hey, you seem stressed out, like you're raging, like what's happening? What's happening at your school? How do you feel? How do you feel about your grades? Can you read and write? You know, and a lot of the times the questions are, no, I can't read or write. I'm stressed out. I hate my life. No one loves me. It's very, very, very interesting. But now it's very rewarding. And so I'm blessed.
So for me, listening to you is like, those are the humans I want on the front line for the kids, because like, it's a lot. It's unfair to you though, because you're a person that takes people's energy too. So you have all these people that are just not being logical. These are about kids, and like you're fighting that every day. So now you actually get to change kids' lives one-on-one, which is probably way more rewarding. Yeah. But you're amazing.
Thank you.
Just people who work with children, just like who do it right, just like have my heart, because you are 100% right. Right now, the times are, you're stuck on screens, your social media. A like is like your validation that you're a good human. Yeah. And that's the thing I struggle with, is because I'm like, no, my kids will have flip phones. Like I can't, like I'll be the mom.
That's right.
Everyone's like, oh, your mom's such a loser. But at the end of the day, like I am just like trying to make you a good human and also not feel your worth is in this. It's just so bad, right? And you're doing that like daily one-on-one with the kids, and they don't get those questions at home. You know, like you're the first person who's like, what's going on?
Yeah. But I think it goes back into what you said about, so parents aren't the same anymore because there are all of these distractions. Like my mother is fantastic. I don't know who my mother would be though if she had a phone and an internet and, you know, social media, you know, saying this is what moms in their 40s look like who only have like one child, you know, like you have a snatch waist, your butt's huge, you got da-da-da. That's not how my mother looked at 40. At 40 and 44, my mother, you know, was working one job at the University of South Florida and then doing like online, what was it? Not online, these research studies with, I forget the company, but like you would get paid like $100 to like answer some questions
for like the survey thing. Yeah, I remember
she did that part-time, you know, she stocked cards. So that's what she did. You know, I can't imagine who my mother would be or anyone's parent who's my age if Instagram and Facebook and social media were around. Like, I don't know who I would be if there was a cell phone accessible to me my junior and senior year versus a beeper where, okay, someone's paged me. I got to find. Beeper. Okay. I love my pink case. I love my white case.
Mine was purple see-through.
Come on, friend. and you changed out that case based off what you had on or what month it was. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. And 5, 6, what?
Mini beeper? Did you get
5, 6, 8, 3 was love, right? And so there were like all these codes that we had. You know, come on, don't play with me. Absolutely. We were fantastic. These kids don't know life.
You're right. And it's hard too because, okay, I have to talk to you or I can give you a screen and I don't. And with everything shutting down and working from home, I'm just like, there was one time I was working like late, I was like checking an email and Jada goes, can you get off your phone? And that just like snapped me out. I was like, once they say that, I better wake you up to put your phone in a box at our cell phone box and leave it there because it affects them way more.
It does. Like it really does. Like kids at my school, and I've even talked with a lot of them because I try to get kids, young people, or anyone to find their perspective, you know, and really speak to who they are through what they wear, right? But when I look at kids right now, it's rare to find kids that really dress outside of what they see.
Express you know,
right? It's way. Really weird. Even in public school, like they wear, you know, these jeans that are ripped up in the thigh area. Okay, fine. And then they have these, you know, t-shirts, you know, that have like a slogan on it. Like, but it's not, I think the social media, just this lack of creativity. And so when I try to ask kids about, hey, what are you into? Like, what do you like? What music do you like? What colors make you happy? They look at me like, what are you talking about? What I like? I like da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, why? Oh, I don't know. And we were different. Like we
literally
could tell you Dave Matthews, the Cranberries, Diggle Planets.
My sisters were
you know, I'm just saying, like we could tell Yanni. I mean, I was a weird kid. Like I was into Yanni for a good minute. I'm like, I don't know what Red Rock is. I'm going there because Yanni. I don't know who that. He's fine. He had all this hair. Linda Evans. You mean to tell me the chick from Dynasty is married to him? Okay, she's doing great work. So I was a very strange kid. My mom was like, hey, at least I know where my kid is. She likes New Kids on the Block and Yanni and In Vogue. Vogue. And as long as I hear me, she's fine. It's good.
And that's what I miss. Me and my sisters, we had a whole thing to In Vogue. Like we did our own because we're sisters. So why wouldn't we be in Vogue? New Kids on the Block poster. Absolutely. So like, yeah, I would follow my older sisters a little bit, but I also loved it.
Yeah.
But it was more just interaction where now they're just watching a TikTok video and they're entranced. It just breaks my heart a little bit. Technology rocks. I've been in technology for years, but not like that.
No.
And you're right in it all the time. And you just want these kids just light up, but you're just wait. And I love that you have the fashion side because you're like, they got the ripped jeans.
It's like the same thing. Like I'm like, but why are you
like,
wearing
I'm
that?
bored.
Right. It's like, I love y'all. Y'all are cute, but y'all ain't doing nothing. Like we would, see something on TV, like whether it be Daria or Britney Spears. Like, I mean, like we had so many, like you could watch TRL for like 10 minutes and then something like would be on Oprah at 4:00 and like she'd have like a shoulder pad or something or Tina Turner hair or I mean like it was just so many things and print magazines that just I just the kids just have so much information, but the quality of what they're getting visually is such trash. And it just breaks my heart for them. Because I don't know. It's really, it's hard to see young people who don't have a sense of wonder and who don't have a sense of creativity. Like it would be different if they had it and they didn't know what it was or what to do with it. But I'm seeing so many young kids who are just zombies. Like they don't know why they like anything. They don't like any music that they haven't heard. They can't tell you the name of the street they live on. Like they're so checked out that and so engaged in social media that they can't even tell you the name of the street that they live on. And I have been experiencing this with children since 2008. They cannot tell you the name of their bus driver. Like they get on they get on a moving vehicle every day. Every day. Yeah, and so for me it's like, "Oh, you're not participating in the world. You're not seeing the green of trees."
You're
like
virtual.
Right, like you don't hear birds and think, that bird sounds interesting. Okay, so that's a woodpecker. So woodpeckers are red. Okay, so I'm gonna make a beat like a woodpecker. Then I'm gonna rap about that at lunch.
Are you gonna drop
and then
a beat right now?
Right, absolutely not. Oh no, that shall not happen. But like there used to be these small little spaces, these small little cliques of creativity that we all had, and it was just like constant. You know what I'm saying? Like even radio stations, like they played music. Now they played the same 77 songs all day long. But it was interesting, right? And now there's so many commercials on stations that I'm like, where's the music? And then they play the same 5 songs over and over again.
I wish parents would just sit with you in your classroom and absorb like what you have to really. The challenge now for teachers and educators is, how do I get through to this kid?
Well, that's actually the challenge for parents as well, though, too. And it's because we have a few generations of parents, not on purpose, but who are disconnected from their kids. And even I came out of high school in 94. I think it was maybe like the class of, I would say maybe like 96, 97. In my opinion, observation was like the last class that had some common sense. And I mean like globally. Like I feel like that was the last class that had some common sense. And I just realized that it was just, the world got real busy. Like you had all these reality shows. Like it wasn't just the real world. You had like we have a whole network. And I love Bravo. I love them. It's sad. I'm not hating. I'm just saying. But we have an entire network of reality TV. Well, we actually have a few. So I have some kids who are like, oh no, I want to be a reality TV star. So that's my goal. So I get not wanting to attend college. I totally get that because in hindsight, I'm like, that one's a waste of money, maybe. But we need to bring trades back or something like that. Like have a plan. Like, okay, are you going to do makeup? Okay, if you are, then you need to go to this high school because they have a great program and you can have a certificate and you can come out like certified makeup artist, making money, etc. Like, what's your plan? Do you like to sew? Do you like to work on cars? Like, what are you into? You don't like people? I get that. You don't like school? I get that. But what is your plan, right? But there's a generation or two of parents who don't have plans, who did not have plans, right? And they're frustrated, and they're annoyed because they feel like the educational system failed them, because what we told them was, hey, go to school, get your diploma, college will be waiting, or there will be these entry-level jobs at banks and so on and so forth, and they'll love you because you're mannerable and you do this, that, and the third, and whatever. But we didn't take into account the automation of so many things and technology snatching a lot of those jobs. So we have a lot of parents who were appropriate and correct and did what they were supposed to, and yet they are working 3 minimum wage jobs, just trying to make ends meet. And so they're frustrated and they don't have time to worry about their kids doing work or what they have on that's appropriate or not appropriate, because no one supported them, right? Yep. So they can't support their kids. So it's just a cycle that we really have to fix that. Yeah.
That I never really looked at it that way. And that's we all just sometimes stick to like one way of looking at things. So when you're at school, though, when you can notice people that enjoy your fashion and things like that, can you tell if somebody is a little bit like you when you were a kid, even though they're like stuck in there?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Is that fun?
Yeah.
Is that kind of inspiring though? A little bit.
It is fun. It is fun. It's interesting to see some kids not so much, how to say it, naturally going through life and trying to figure it out. I have some kids who are a little more vocal, about like, I like your clothes. I don't understand it. I don't know if you're like an African tribe or something, but I like it, but I don't get it, and so you'll get that and it'll be very, very like basic. And then you'll get other kids who, and this used to happen actually a lot when I worked, ironically, in Plant City. It would happen a lot that I would get kids who were like, hey, I went home and I told my mom that like you wear this thing on your head or whatever. And so she put me like on some website or whatever about like Nigerian head wraps or whatever. Is that what it's called? A jello? I'm like, it's a gele. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh my gosh. They try to like,
that would happen. And ironically, it would be like my Caucasian students, who like sometimes, had just a little more, support or time, and they would be interested. And as a matter of fact, I actually just went to dinner with a student who I met her when she was in the 6th grade. Now she's like 21 and like her fashion is like totally different than what it was. And she's like no more jeans and boots for me, ma'am. Like, this is how I dress. And like, I always said like Mrs. Salter, then it was Woods, came to work every day and she wore her personality. So you also sort of kind of knew what day like you might have, like if she had on all black, do not go to her office. Like, do not, we don't know what's going on. But Salter Woods, it was Woods in, is walking around here in all black. So do not in there. Do not. If she has on like her curly wig, it's going to be a good day. If she has on like the ponytail wig and it's slicked back, stay out of her way. Don't be tardy. Don't yell and scream on the patio. It's going to be a moment. So, yeah.
And they knew though.
They did.
And you were right though. Your personality comes out with what you're wearing. Yes. And you live it.
Yeah.
So tell me some things you want the audience to know about just your fashion, not like sense, because I feel like you know how to, I don't know, style people and just do your thing, but like, what is Salt Loft and why are you so passionate about it?
So Salt Loft, our goal is to make sure that people are comfortable in all the ways that you can be comfortable, right? So we want to dress you in a way that even though you have clothes on, you feel like you are walking around outside with nothing on besides your confidence. And that's in your professional dress, that's in your personal dress, and that people have a right to be comfortable in whatever fashion aesthetic they think is comfortable for them. I hate when people call me or come to me and they're down on their own fashion. Like, I don't know if you want to work with me, or I don't know if you can help me because all I like to wear is jeans, sneakers, and a t-shirt. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I own jeans, sneakers, and a t-shirt and they're dope. But The challenge
Right.
or the opportunity is not so much changing what you like wearing. If you like wearing jeans, sneakers, and a t-shirt, that's dope. That's not a problem. I want to ensure that we have an informed look about what is the cut of the jean, what type of sneakers. Do you look better for yourself and feel more comfortable in a high top or a low top? What are you going to be known for? Like, do you want to maybe just say, like, not only do I like sneakers, but I like Converse and I like vintage, right?
Yeah.
So then that's what I would put you in. Do you look better in a V-neck or a crew cut? You know, like, so all of that matters. And it's not, and I really want people to understand, your fashion perspective and comfort is not about changing. It is not about changing who you are. It is about, really amplifying who you are and validating that and honoring that. So when you look in the mirror, you still see yourself and whatever brings you joy. And I think that's really important. I think sometimes stylists get so into the look and the moment, you know, and making sure that, you know, when the person steps out, someone is asking, well, who styled you and where's that from? I'm fine if no one ever asks my clients about who styled them. I want them to hear, you look good. You look happy. Did you do something different with your hair? Like something's changed about you. You know, like, okay, I see you. You know, that's what I want because I think that that's more natural and that's consistent. And I think that's also important. And it helps clients be able to recreate the look for themselves. And I think that that's important. I do offer a subscription service for people because some folks are just busy, you know, like, hey, I don't have time or I don't have the desire to shop for myself, right? So I'll pay you this fee. If I want one outfit a month, this is fee. Yeah. If like I want two, it's fine. I order it, I ship it, and it's fine. But there are other people who are like, hey, I'm just going through this change, or I'm having this moment, or I'm in this new phase of my life, and this is how I want to feel, or this is the look I'm going for, and I would like to be able to do that long term. So can you help me do that piece by piece, or help me one time, and then I know how to recreate that look?
Oh my gosh. So do you do things where you meet with the person a couple of times, then go shopping with them, or you shop for them?
So I have various,
options,
I have so many options because people are just so busy.
I feel like also though, people might want to go with you because it's kind of like to try to think like you, but I mean, that's probably physically impossible, but just to kind of get the feel of how you shop, because it's just, I don't know. I think it's really amazing and you've intrigued me. I like how you said like, oh, just wear this. It's not like that. It's more of me. I just feel like I'm always like in like a rebirth phase where I'm just like, I
you look
need
amazing.
Something that, oh, thank you. But like, I love how you say that, like just sometimes people's lives are busy. So let's just send them something to feel fresh, feel like themselves, feel comfortable. But, I'm super excited about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. And I love that you're doing it. I also think it's amazing you're still in education because you have to be super busy with everything. I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. I am a bit busy, but like I said, like my brain sort of fell out the back of my head last year, like I said, because I thought that the world was ending. So it's good to, you know, be busy and keep doing the educational piece, because I am at a place that is just such an amazing site with such amazing kids and such an amazing administration. I just, I cannot speak more of Burnett Middle School. Like just, they are great. It's, and I've been in education a long time, and as an admin, right? Former, like when you go into a new site, like, it's like, oh, this is what it should feel like, right? And it really reminds me of my high school. I mean, my high school is just real warm and loving.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly where I should be. So I am busy, but I think if nothing else, during 2020, taking so much time off and just having the opportunity just to think, right? Like, if we all don't die, and if the world continues, how do I want to live the rest of my life? Yeah. You know? And so once I got the vaccine, I was like, okay. Then I got the second shot. I'm like, okay, I want to honor, and I'm still, and I want to share this, that I'm only talking about 2020 in a lighthearted way because I inappropriately process death in that way. So if anyone's offended, I apologize. But I do want to honor so many people who didn't make it, right? It's an amazing number in ensuring that I live the rest of my life in a way that honors all of my talents and skills and abilities and being unapologetic about it. Because I think for everyone who we lost globally last year, I think if everybody had a second chance, and it wasn't their fault, it was no fault of their own, I think that they would live, dance in the rain, take the trips, take the selfies. Don't worry about the cellulite. Don't worry about the back fat. Eat the last piece of chicken, eat the cake in the morning, drink the champagne on Sundays. Like, I think that they would do all of that. And so I promised myself, especially when the stress of the last job was taken from me and I was allowed to live, and blissfully I didn't lose anybody and I didn't lose my mind. If 2021 comes for me, I'm gonna ride that bitch so the wheels fall off. I'm living and loving the rest of my life.
And that is how you end an episode. I don't have anything to say after that. That was so well put. And it's a beautiful sight to watch, being in the darkness and then come out just shining. You're a beautiful human. I am so glad our paths have crossed. Tell the world where to find you.
Hi, world. Well, if you are looking for me, I am on Instagram and all the things as Salt Loft. And I have a lot of opportunities for you, and I would love to just style you, support you, help you. Just make sure that you're comfortable and look fabulous doing it.
I love it. And you just bring out people's authentic self. And I think that's one of the most important things.
It is. Thank you.
You can find Abeba on Not a Great Whisper podcast page. We are at BKN Creative Studios today in Ybor and at The Real Cray, katyray.com. I'm excited because I would like to have a second episode with you with your wife here, because when you tell stories about each other, it cracks. And just to see like both of you at the same, I love it. So we will do that soon. But thank you again for joining.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.